Hey, welcome to Chumming with the Spirits. This is JD. We have OG and Pear Chum, our technical master of technologies.
And crop testing.
We are here at Beck's Brewery. We are near Elkhorn, Wisconsin, which is famous for the Railroad Beast. We are actually sampling the Legends and Lore Candy Stout.
Yeah, candy bar stout.
If you like a dark beer with sweet chocolate overtones, this is really good.
Actually, it's not too bad once I got used to
It is thicker. It's a stout. It's
right.
And I'm not going to lie, folks, that says a lot to it because Dave does not like beer.
I don't. Michelob Ultra, I can
that's not
work
beer.
my way through that. And that's not really beer.
That's water.
Yeah, and he's found a cider here that they have that's really good.
Their cider.
They have a seltzer I like.
It's actually not on the menu anymore.
Oh, we must have tapped it out last time.
Good job, man.
So we kind of wanted to talk. I won't be talking much because I don't know much about it.
Oh, you will.
Oh, he's totally hopped in.
He'll
hopped in all sorts of places.
For sure.
Dungeons and Dragons, because we just went yesterday to St. Geneva, where
Lake Geneva. He's not a saint yet, but we're pushing for it.
We're going to pull back a little bit on that.
I still got my hand on this one.
That's the home place of D&D. Gary Gyax started the company with a partner, Asner, I think was his name, that helped develop the first D&D basic set. They released it in like 1973. They literally put the first dice sets together, 1,000 of them, in the basement of Gary Gygax's house, and sold 1,000 of them within the first year, which was unheard of back then, because we're talking it's a tabletop.
No social media, no internet.
Yeah,
no.
So, and also keep in mind, it's based off of some pre-existing rules for miniatures. So original D&D was based on miniature play, which has its foundation in
like Risk, but more hardcore.
Yeah, Risk is based off of a larger version where people would set up maps, and you'd have all these miniatures, and you have these rules to move them around.
And allies.
Yes. Those are all modern versions of the way they used to do miniature combat. And no one at the time was doing anything fantasy-wise. And keep in mind, he was heavily influenced by Tolkien, Lord of the Rings. There's also reasons why they're called halflings, not hobbits. And you can't trademark elves. Elves are lore, same with orcs.
Yeah.
But he started the company in 73. And 77 is when they released Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and that's what most people know of. That's where the cartoon came out in 1983.
Yeah, no, I remember watching that as a kid. I loved that show.
Yeah.
So we're still recording, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So saying that, we were 3 minutes in it, and you have found a lot to say, even though you weren't going to say anything.
Whatever.
So I'm just going to call it bullshit lie on that.
No, so what I meant I'll preface. I have never actually played Dungeons and Dragons.
No, but you play
Have you played Baldur's Gate?
A more gay game.
Oh, yeah.
So you played Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah, I've played Diablo, Baldur's Gate.
So you just haven't rolled the dice.
Everspace.
Yeah.
So he just hasn't rolled dice.
Yeah, he hasn't,
That's all.
Well, I mean, he probably didn't have friends, so.
No.
But
that's very fair.
As I was talking about, like, when you talk about D&D, it's a lot more mainstream now. We have plenty of movies. Famous celebrities have now came out and talked about D&D. To sum it up, it's storytelling with a group of friends. Like I said, to win D&D is to get everybody together, sit down, and have fun. You interact with each other. Some people get up to the point where they're role-playing, they're dressing up. Some people just like to just roll the sparkly, shiny dice and have a good time. The main thing about it that's really kind of transformed over the years, it's more open and accepting. I mean, when I was younger, it was pretty much only the nerds or chess club guys would be playing it. Stranger Things has really helped out.
I remember the first time I ever heard of Dungeons and Dragons besides the cartoon growing up as a kid. I was watching this movie called Airheads with Brendan Fraser, and he's getting up there in the car, and he's like, I'm a nerd. I play Dungeons and Dragons. And I was like, that's a game?
In the 80s, there were Christian groups that had pamphlets talking about D&D with Satan worshiping and witchcraft. Because they had references to devils and demons. other deities based off of.
No.
Well, doesn't the Bible have references to devils and demons?
Yeah, but not in a good way is what they were trying to say, because they were also talking about magic. Not much different than like Harry Potter, where some people had problems with Harry Potter and magic.
Yeah.
And then most fantasy role playing games
He's gonna smack me.
like Magic the Gathering was based off of two wizards battling, throwing spells, which is comes from Tolkien, comes from D&D.
And I play that all the time.
Yeah. So, like I said, Lake Geneva is where everything was born, and that's where Gary Gygax passed away in 2008 in March. We went by there. They have a nice plaque for him that was part of the fountain dedication.
I was a little disappointed that it could have been a little.
Yeah, I believe his house is also a museum. We drove by it, but for some reason couldn't find it the second time around. And it's not.
It's not on the main road.
Yeah, well, it's also not on Apple Maps. I couldn't find it.
But we were a little frustrated anyway. I mean, right? We got a ticket for backing up in a parking space.
Parking backed up.
$25 ticket.
Yeah, so
within 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So
that, no more Lake Geneva for me. You cannot have my money anymore.
It's a beautiful area. I understand why people stay there.
Very affordable, big homes.
Yeah, it's because they give you parking tickets left and right.
Yes.
And almost every place is pay to park. Luckily, at this time of year, I think it's because it's the off season. It's free parking, but.
Yeah. It wasn't for Dave.
Actually, I was talking to a lady in the gift shop, and she said, they're really mean people down there. And the reason they give out tickets like that, and the parking is not normally free. It's usually very high. It's like $6 an hour. So all the people down there that are selling, all the shops, are upset with the area, the council, if you will, because of how they treat visitors. That's how they make their money there. And then I told her, she goes, I'm so sorry. I go, well, I felt like they were waiting for me to get on my truck to give me the ticket. So,
it kind of felt like they were.
That's exactly
it was quick enough because we weren't gone for, I don't even know we were gone for 30 minutes, to be honest.
Probably shouldn't be talking about that. So that's probably why we didn't find Gary Gygax's house/museum on the way out. We were all frustrated saying.
We had some McRibs. We had appointments with some McRibs in a different town.
We wanted to go to a different town to eat our McRib.
Yeah, because we don't get those in Kansas City until December 3rd.
That's right.
So, but yeah, I mean, also, we're up in the area as part of the bucket list. We were up here originally, because Bray Road, that's OG's and mine bucket list. We talked about it on the last podcast. We are drinking the Legends in Lore Candy,
which is
stout.
as close as we got to the beach of Bray Road, right here.
So what's the?
Other than Parachum being drunk, we still say we
that was crazy. That was not drinking. That was engulfing.
Yeah.
That was engulfing. And I took my hat off to you, man. That was done well. I mean, I was like, what?
When it's good, it's good.
It must have been great. So.
And that was after destroying that large-ass pretzel, all that bread.
Oh, you killed that too. You guys.
Yeah, the food here is amazing.
That would have soaked a little bit of
handmade pretzels. These giant pretzels that are just.
Even the bar food pizza is amazing here, right? I mean, we enjoyed that.
So the cinnamon bite pretzels are really good. That's the same style of pretzel that big one's made out of.
Yeah, I can see how that would be legit for sure. But you were asking the question.
Yeah, I just wanted to get your guys' opinions on what. When it first came out in the draw, what was the draw for you, the appeal to it for you?
Mine was like Larry said, JD was saying, getting with your friends and enjoying your time. Usually it meant us all getting our favorite Chinese food or pizza and having a good time. The guys I hung out with don't usually drink, so that was never a drinking thing.
I was playing back in high school, and so we weren't drinking, but other than Mountain Dew,
we were taking acid,
and we'd pull all-nighter playing. When everybody was off from work, we'd go get together, and we had some sessions that we had over 10 to 15 people in there trying to do an epic mashups of stuff. So it was more of like a party. You got together with your friends.
It was.
Everybody brought snacks. A lot of pizza was ordered. And you just hung out and you had a good time. We actually had a weekend-long session where we had people literally coming in and out
The whole weekend?
The whole weekend, because, you had to go, we're all in high school, so people had to work over the weekend. So some people would step out to go do their shift and
then come back.
And then, again, we'd take, a couple hour breaks, let some people
bring
take
them
naps.
back in, bring them back into the game, for sure. And some girls would come and watch, which to me was crazy. Like,
no, we had some girls actually play with us. Yeah, which was really rare.
That is, they're crazy. They were absolutely crazy. Like, what is this girl doing? Actually, she's not too bad, and
those
holy cow, she's dating that guy. Yeah. Which was it was few and far between for sure. But to me, the big draw was I like reading books, and at that time I was reading the Dragonlance series, the Renshai series. I was Ravenloft hooked me right off the bat with Strahd. After I got done with Dragonlance, Ravenloft was more evil, more corrupted, more dark, which is why I liked it. But then, which I still love Dragonlance, but then all of a sudden Ravenloft brings in Lord Soth. I'm like, holy smokes, this just got even darker. Going up against the main man, Strahd, and I think that's why my son, today, he is now campaigning. We all do. I'll get on the computer and do it with them. It's
all my sons play. Like we did World of Warcraft, which is based off of D&D.
Yes, that's why I played.
Drawed everybody in.
Yep. Well, I mean,
that
was really loud.
Never cracked.
Yeah.
It kind of created a whole culture of video games too. If you look at it, like.
Which $1 billion business with Blizzard, right? There's people getting divorced and married because of EverQuest and World of Warcraft. I know two people that was in my guild when I was playing heavily, met on the game, met it in real life, and then got married.
Yeah.
Have you seen the controversy about the new Dragon Age Veilguard game, where one of the characters, like, you have to make them transsexual? Like, every choice that is given to you results in it being a trans character.
I'd rather just stay away from that because it's not part of the game. I mean, it affects that game, but it's not, because that was one of the things, like, there are stereotypes in D&D, like the bard, the omnisexual bard. That's why there's so many half-breeds.
Thought it was interesting that they didn't give you a single choice to go away from that.
It's just game developers going off on certain tangents, and you'll run into that based off your dungeon master that's running a game, whether it's homebrewed or it's from the modules. But like I said, the main part of that is getting together, have fun, and making memories. Because there's stuff that my friends, we're talking 30 years ago playing, and we still talk about it every once in a while when it pops up.
So what makes Gygex's campaigns different than most other people's or creators that have made campaigns?
He's the originator.
He was the originator. Well, he came up with was it Greyhawk was his realm that he did his homebrew on, and there's multiple books on that now. He helped develop some of the best modules. Now, one thing that, like, if you're a modern player, and you'll see memes about this, D&D and Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, you had backup characters because you died a lot and you didn't get resurrected very often. Like, it was rough. Like, I mean, if you failed a certain trap, you're just dead.
You're dead. Yeah.
And that was Gygax. That's how Gygax.
And I love that. And that's how I love torturing my friends. Hey, I didn't make up this. This is how the game's played. And you know what? Suck it up. Drink a beer.
Make stupid decisions. Get stupid results.
You guys are making great enemies in Souls games.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's very similar. Yeah.
Like the easiest little rat touches you and you're dead.
Well, and that's how D&D, the first basic set, and then the very first Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, first level, you had to be careful. It was very easy to get killed by a goblin.
Well, that's why the first 3 levels are so fun.
Yes.
I mean, you get the 20th level, it's kind of boring. Yeah. To me it is. It's not as exciting.
Well, when TSR finally got sold and Gygax kind of lost the majority interest, he made How the Mighty Were Fallen, and it's a level 20 campaign. That is the one that's designed to challenge level 20s.
Didn't it get sold to Wizards of the Coast?
Yeah.
Which is famous for Magic the Gathering. And,
they own
all the card-based games.
Yeah, which like now is all owned by Hasbro.
Yeah.
So, It's grown over the years. They've done, technically they're up to the 6th edition now. Mostly digital content now. They're still trying to figure some things out. I still play.
So what's your, of treasures, say level 9 and under, what's your favorite treasure?
Depends on my character, because like I leaned more towards the weapons, because I usually was
So you like the fighter character, the barbarian?
I did barbarians and rangers.
Okay, rangers are good. But they're fun to play.
Yeah, recently I've really enjoyed. I made a couple different warlocks. Made a warlock bard, and I didn't think that would, because they're both charisma casters and that, and became one of the primary healers in my group, which was really weird.
So would you guys be willing to help me create a character, or maybe we could start doing an online live?
Yeah, that wouldn't be
Between the
hard
three
at
of
all.
us?
That's a possibility for sure. I think my two favorite. I'm going to go back to the treasure thing.
Yeah, I don't mean anything.
No,
Just go ahead.
Bag of holding, I think, is like the greatest gift that keeps giving when you're on a campaign.
OG likes to hold bags.
And then a deck of many things.
Dick of many things.
Deck.
Oh.
So we already had too much beer.
No, like on my headphones, it sounded like you said dick of many things.
So the deck of many things I would not give to a low level group unless you
No,
just
but
want
how fun is that? I mean, I was at Camp Lee. I don't have anything else to do. We're not going to survive this. They just start throwing things out, whether they made it. And I love that. Chuck used to do that. Chuck lives in Norway. That was his. He actually came across a deck of many things. It was a low level campaign, and it was great. And we also had a gnome with gauntlets of storm giant string, and that was Ken. And he had this halfling, and he would go make money for beer because they never had enough. They had these great items, but they never had enough money to buy beer. So he would go into a bar and arm wrestle big guys to make money for the group, so they could afford a night.
So as a DM, I was kind of a dick and put a ring of healing on a goblin, which a ring of healing does 1d4 hit points. It's a minor healing ring. Well, goblin only has 1d4 hit points, so they kill it. It just kept coming back. So because they're getting attacked and they couldn't understand why, like they're killing all these others, but this one just kept on until one of them finally made the insight check, perception to realize he's got a friggin' ring on his toe. What's
That's important.
That's kind of dickish.
Oh, it was, because it wasn't like they were having a hard time killing him, but
they just couldn't keep him down.
Yeah, they kill him and they turn around and walk away, and the next thing somebody's getting sneak attacked. It's a D4 with 3d6 damage. You're like, what? And it's that goblin again. They're like, how many goblins are in this cave? So there's stuff like that.
It makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah. And the dice rolling. Starts. It's weird. We talked about random number generators. I have seen dice start forming patterns based off of a person's character. Like I have a buddy that I don't know what it is about him, but if he's got to do something really important, 90% chance fail. If it is something that is just flavor, like he's going to do a backflip, whatever, natural 20s.
Yeah.
And he just always his character.
Makes you wonder if it's his own perception affecting how he rolls.
I wonder if it isn't, because like I've seen patterns come out on characters that shouldn't be there, because these dice are randomly rolled.
Like he doesn't care about the backflip, so he just flicks it, but he does care about certain moves, and he tries to.
So, and that's some of the fun things about those are what really makes things more memorable about stuff. I had a ranger with a group that was fairly new, and it was a human ranger, and he disliked elven rangers because it made everything look easy. But his rule of thumb was, if I see a creature, I shoot it in its eye. Which is in advanced D&D, you can do cold shots. So it's like a plus.
But there's a negative to it.
You get it's like a negative off the. I can't tell you how many creatures that should have wiped our party, and I'm shooting them in the eye, and I'd never seen a beholder before. My character had never seen a beholder before, and he says there's this large thing floating, and I go, I'm going to shoot in its eye. And he's like, can you see its eye? I'm like, well, I got 120-foot range with a bow.
Right.
He goes, well, roll your perception. And I rolled it, and it was high enough. He goes, okay, so you're going to try shooting at its eye long, and I rolled a natural 20.
Kill shot.
Yeah, it didn't kill it, but it blinded it in its main eye. And then it just took another hit to kill it. But he's like, you know what the probability of that is? And I did it like 3 different times. He's like, and he literally changed part of the campaign because
You were getting lucky.
I was getting lucky, and I'd say, well, I'll just shoot it in its eye. And like 3 creatures in a row, that was one of its vulnerable points. Like they had like super high armor, but if you did called shots in certain areas, like the head, it'd do more damage, you know. So those are the stories.
Right, and if you got a low-level character, he takes out a big-level character because you railed enough 20. If he has a sword of sharpness or something like that.
Yeah, that sword of wounding was one of my favorite ones, where it had bleed, where you do one point, and the next round to do another point. Well, every time you cut somebody. Yeah, those are the things that you read.
And some of the new rules, I think if you get a natural 20, that's a critical hit, and then you get to roll again.
Yeah,
I used to do double damage. We changed that a little.
Well, there's some flavor text now in the new rules. So a lot of times what most people do is, like, if you get a critical hit and they can't negate it, you get full base damage, and then you roll your additional dice on top of that. So you max out the original roll plus any pluses, and then you roll the dice again. And that's what gives you your critical damage. And some characters, that can be huge.
Well, I'd also roll a 12-sided. If it's a 20, I go, okay, we're going to roll 12-sided and see where you hit it at. And each body part has its own number location. And sometimes, cut a guy in the head, cut him down the middle.
So
those critical failures, critical hit successes.
So I've noticed watching some live streams, they have other, like, 8-sided, 12-sided, not 20. Where do those come into play?
So the 20-sided die is what you're mainly rolling for all your skill checks and abilities. Your other side dies, like your D6, D4, D8, D12s, are damage dies. Those are...
Or it can be initiative.
Depends on...
Percentage, if you're going to try an acrobatic feat, like do a backflip and shoot your bow. Okay, what's your agility? Throw this or whatever. There's a percentage of that happening.
Yeah, percentile dies where it's 2d10s.
Interesting.
Yeah. So and the reason why they have different style dice is it's all based off probability. Like a dagger will do 1 to 4 points of damage if you stab somebody, which is equivalent. Like there used to be Gary Gygax made the Dungeons magazine, and they had at the very end they do cartoons, and like one of the things was like, well, how can you explain what 1 to 4 hit point damage is? He goes, well, it was to take 2 cats, tie them by their tails, and hang them over you naked and jump into the shower. That's 1d4 damage. He's like, I was like, ooh, that actually sounds pretty nasty. He's like, and the higher level you get, the more hit points. And they've kind of ebbed and flowed on trying to explain how that is. Basically,
yeah, if you're a specialty in that weapon and your strength modifier, if you're a real strong guy, that you can do extra damage with that weapon. Yeah, you can do extra damage.
I couldn't hear a single thing you said.
I heard everything I said, so I think we're good.
So, I mean, and that's the flavor text. Like, and some of the spells, the material components. There's a lot of inside jokes from over the years.
Do you do that? Do you do material? You have to have the components.
It depends on the DM. Some DMs are sticklers, but there's ways to get around it. There's a pouch of spell components. As long as it's not like $200 worth of diamond dust, you can. It just magically. Well, in the movie, that's what Elminster was messing with. His little disc on his side. Mm-hmm. That was a pouch of magic material components. It's a real thing, and it's a minor item to get. So most people doing Magic use that. And like they said, there's a lot of home brewing to it, because like the rules are more guidelines than anything. It's just to kind of give you a structure of how things are going, and it's up to the DM to say yes, that's good, or no, that's good. Sometimes you might fudge things for the story to make it sound really good. Like Roll20 has a fantastic podcast, and they have cartoons now. And his famous line is, "How do you want to do this?" So when you kill one of the main guys,
you get to call your shot.
You get to call your shot. How do you split him in half? Yeah, do you decapitate him? Does he explode because of your spell? They're one of the main reasons. Really recently, because they're all voice actors. If you watch any animations, you've heard one of them, if not all of them.
Yeah.
getting it to be it's fun. You don't have to be a drama kid. You don't have to be some nerd that does math. Well, so I'll be honest. Basic D&D and advanced D&D had a THACO, and you had to have math. You had to do math. It was hard.
Do you know what THACO means?
Me? No fucking clue.
Okay.
What is it?
2-hit armor class 0.
Yes, that is. Yeah. Look at Dave.
I'm not that dumb. Yeah.
No.
Me either.
Well, you know how to calculate it, so.
No,
So-
I remember watching this show called Freaks and Geeks. I don't know if you ever watched that show. And
It didn't really make it like one season.
Yeah, it was phenomenal though.
Well, it had almost everybody was a major star afterwards.
But James Franco was the cool kid, you know.
Yeah, James Franco, Seth Rogen, and who's the girl? Was it Christian Bell? Is it Bell on that one?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, as you were saying.
And they were like, "Hey, you know, come play D&D with us." And Franco was like, "This is gay. This is stupid." And he did one session and got hooked.
It happened. I can tell you some of the biggest gamers you'll see now in college are your athletes.
Well, and it lends to them. A lot of people don't realize because that fantasy football is D&D for jocks. Because it's all based off stats, what's probabilities. You know, and instead of rolling dice, you're letting people make the outcome. It's very similar. You want to pick your group. You want to make sure you have the right people, which is the same as what gear you're carrying and your availability.
I would say 70% of football teams, their offensive line are D&D guys. Which I would say at least 70%.
I'll be honest. They probably make some of the better D&D players because they know what teamwork is. Mm-hmm. So you start to, well, and like when you play with a group, like if you're the first time playing with a group, you'll have a character. Maybe it doesn't fit quite in. And then as you play multiple campaigns with people, you start talking about, well, you know, we don't have a healer. Okay, well, I'll be a cleric, or you know, I want to try a spellcaster this time. So somebody else pulls in and says, well, okay, I'll do the cleric or the healing role, or hey, I just want to be a fighter. I don't want to have to think about anything.
Right. I just want to attack.
Yeah. And that's usually how you bring people into D&D is like, okay, just be a fighter. You know, you can use stick or sword or however you want, and this is how you play it. And then as you get more into it, then you learn more advanced characters.
I would want a character that was a shadow thief.
That's a rogue. I mean, there's subclasses of rogues, and but a rogue is not usually a main character. They are an excellent support character.
Yeah. And they can do some shit.
Yes,
they can bring hell.
They're the glass cannons. If somebody is distracting somebody, that's where they get sneak attack, and they can do massive amounts as they get up in level. But they don't have that many hit points. So if somebody catches them, they're
fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point. Everybody has.
But you got to know how to play your character for sure.
Because you get into characters' alignments. Are you chaotic good? You know, where the ends justify the mean, or you lawful good, where you know you have to do what's right.
Can you be chaotic neutral?
Oh yeah, that's two ways. So chaotic.
It just sounds like an oxymoron.
Well, most people think of the Joker as chaotic neutral. He'd let the world burn if that's just how his day was going, or he may save Batman because he wants to make sure he's the one that's going to kill him later. That's chaotic neutral. You don't really know what way it's going to go.
That would be me.
And I mean, I've played some chaotic neutral guys. I've even played some chaotic evil. So evil, generally, when they talk about alignment, means you're more selfish. Your character is going to think about themselves first before somebody else.
Voldemort.
Well, he was probably true evil. He literally wanted to take over the world.
Yeah. But you can also mix classes, like you were saying. You can have a lawful evil and a lawful good person, and they'll get along great because they understand each other.
Yep.
And they're going to get along great. So it's interesting. It's interesting. A good DM can make the campaign go fun. And I found most campaigns are good that you have an ideal and you just let the characters take where they want to go. You know, sometimes it's not a good outcome.
No.
But if you're a good if you're a good dungeon master, you're always going to give them 3 ways to get out of something.
Yeah.
If you're 5th level,
they're going to take the 4th every time.
And they want to go. We're going to go check out this castle. I go, well, you know that belongs to Strahd. Yeah, but we just want to take a peek and you're like, okay, well, then you got like, how do you give them options not to go in, you know? And sometimes it's whatever's guarding the castle.
Well, and like, I'll be honest, like to me, home brewing was at first difficult because I did modules, and modules really kind of cover like 90% of the base. So you don't have to really think about stuff. Every once in a while, somebody will come up with something that might skip the whole plot, and that's, you know. But as you start doing home brewing, I remember spending hours developing story arcs and all this in my world, and I'm thinking it's going to go this way.
And then it's going complete opposite.
Yeah, they take option Z that wasn't really an option because they met somebody that was selling pastries and somebody gypped them, and the next thing you know, they're burning the village down to protect this. You know, it's just weird how people go. So like I'd spend hours and then they go a different direction. So then I have to just make it up on the fly. So
I found that some of the best campaigns.
Go that way. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's podcast people talking about. I can't remember his name. He's on the other. He's the redheaded guy. I'll think of his name later. But he's another famous DM, and he was talking about one of his favorite campaigns was his group went in and they were supposed to stop this kidnapping of this princess, and they made an insight check, and he's like, well, she's really marrying him because it's going to align the kingdom, and she doesn't really want to. They end up kidnapping her. So he totally changes it. It was one of the more memorable events and campaigns, and totally was not the plan that he had put together. It's on the fly and goes. So
in a final closeout note, I just wanted to get your guys' opinion. Do you think I would be a good D&D player?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Your ADD would come in real handy for a plot twist.
Yeah, that
too. Yeah. No, I think you would enjoy it. I'll be honest. After you learn the rule sets and that, you would probably be a pretty decent DM because you like telling stories.
Yeah, I do.
And if you love telling stories, that's where being a dungeon master really comes in, because you're making this immersive world. But I mean, the problem is first you got to know how the world works, and you play a while, and that's usually what happens. Like you'll have everybody playing. I mean, I've been doing one campaign on and off for over 5 years now. So I mean, it's very common that if you get a group together, because it's hard to get people together every week.
Yeah, it is.
So I mean, for a while we were doing like every other. Yeah, I mean, I was doing podcasts.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were going to do D&D, this is the best way to do it. Is we do a podcast and we play D&D at the same time.
Yeah.
No, your dice suck.
Yeah, but when you
your dice are made of paper.
Don't get so tied up in the rules, because every dungeon master is going to look at the game different. There's different ways they roll, so you'll have to learn how that dungeon rolls. I do not go by the book. Sometimes the book rules do not make sense to me. It's just, even though it's a fantasy, well, that's the most idiotic thing I've ever seen.
Or you have somebody that knows all the rules in the book and they're anticipating. It's called metagaming.
Yeah.
They're using their knowledge on the character wouldn't. So you change some of the rules.
Yeah. To prevent them from doing that.
Yeah. And then, usually they get the hint, like, oh yeah, maybe my character wouldn't know that.
Interesting. So, yeah, I know this was kind of a different episode to talk about.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for
guys. I thought it was fun.
And it was a fast 30 minutes. We're by Lake Geneva.
Yeah.
Here's one for Gary Gaiax and everybody else that has helped move this along to make it normal again.
I've already toasted him with my $25 parking ticket.
So yeah, until next
time. Until next time, be safe.
Yeah, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.